A client asks you to do some old-time inspirational portraits for a project and you don't know where to begin? Well, I just had a similar shoot not too long ago, so let me walk you through how I got these shots. Maybe you can get inspired, or maybe you can do something better. Let's get started and figure it out. Alright, so I'm telling you now, we're gonna start with the hardest part of this entire project, the set. So this set is a texture-driven set, meaning that I was looking for texture when I was putting the elements together. You don't have to do exactly what I did or the exact same way as me, but when I was sent an example of or an inspiration or something similar to this, I thought I'd put my own spin to this by adding texture. Luckily at the studio we have this false wall that looks like a canvas. Also, by chance, I hand-painted a few canvases that had a similar brightness and texture to the false wall. Having a canvas lying around the floor at this time was boring and the model was not super tall. So I decided to elevate her using a table because I knew the dress was actually long, and use the canvas as a tapestry for that table. This is great in two ways, as it allowed the dress to flow longer, which made her look taller. Win-win in my opinion. If you do not own multiple canvases as I do, you can actually use a blank muslin fabric and find texture packages like digital packages that you can wrap around the fabric in post-production or in Photoshop. If you have a better budget and you want to get it done in camera, you can check out my friend Ethan Alex's backdrop and buy a couple. Ethan's is a fantastic painter and they're absolutely great for the price. Also, Ethan's a great guy, so make sure to check him out. If you've never bought a canvas before, I'd go with a neutral color like gray that you can later color in post. They're really flexible, or if you have more budget, buy whatever you want. Now, did that answer any questions about the set? Let me know in the comments if there's anything missing, and I'll keep an eye out for the questions. But before you go, I think I know what your next question is. Let's move on to how I lit this portrait. And I'm not sure what kind of budget you have for this shoot, so let me propose this. In order to make it budget friendly, I'll propose two ways to approach this. One that's affordable and one that matches exactly this set. Let's take it from the top. First, I wanted a touch of a hairlight. In order to get a hairlight, I initially thought of putting a strip box boom overhead, but that sounded super complicated and annoying, especially that it was my second shoot of the day, and my brother in Christ, I was tired. I then opted for the simple solution of a standard reflector, and if you have it high enough, it'll do the trick for a full body. You can grid it for additional control if ever you think the light spill is bothering you. My camera at the time was set with an aperture of f4.5 and my Sony a7R V was paired with the Tamron 70-180 2.8. So because it was at 4.5, I had it very low in terms of power. Again, just a kiss of a hairlight. This boom light is entirely optional if you don't have that many lights, so feel free to skip that step entirely if you don't want to boom a light on top of the subject or you don't feel like using a third light for this. The second light in this case will be the fill light, and it's located camera left. This is key since I didn't really like the first few shots that had really dark portions, and to me they were way too dark. I'd rather dim down the blacks in post than rather not having enough information in my raw files. And to solve that, I used my favorite modifier, the big umbrellas. Big umbrellas are cheap and they produce one of the softest lights you can find for your money, so I love them and I love them. In the big umbrella, I use an 8300 Pro. The 8300 Pro in that case is just set at again, very low power, just enough to fill the bottom of the set and make sure my blacks don't click. All the lights and modifiers you see in this video will be listed below, so you can check them out if you have any more questions about them. The third part of the set, or the third light, is not a light actually, it's a V-flat. So the black V-flat here was there simply to avoid any reflections from the big umbrella camera left. You see I have a white wall and camera right, and it would have been really terrible to have the shadows filled too much by this bouncing of light everywhere. I'd rather keep it neutral and also have darker darks or actually more contrast. Editor Evans here. So this guy didn't say things very clearly. So when I said that before, when I added the umbrellas, it was because I wanted some highlights in there. The entire scene was way too dark, and by adding the umbrella, I actually added some highlights. But now with the highlights, I can tolerate a bit more clipped or a bit more darker darks. The reason why I can accept darks in the contrasty part or the darker parts is because I have some highlights before there was none. So I hope that was clear. If not clear, then roast me in the comments. It's fine. And I've been using this trick lately a lot, following a tip from I can't pronounce this word, cinematographer Bradley Young, that was always having a negative fill. It kind of shapes the features of your subject, making them look that much better. And for the last light, is this one you cannot skip because it's just expensive. It's the Optical Snoot, but I'll propose a solution that's going to be really cheap a bit later after this. So I'm not sure if you've ever followed this course or this training, but Lindsay Adler said when she's planning a portrait session that she plans her visual impact in many ways, either color or lighting. In my case, my love is lighting, so I made the light similar to a stage light. The contrast that it creates just makes the portrait pop, and that's what you want. You want a showstopper, and this is my intention for this shot. And because of the inherent power loss of the Optical Snoot, the 8400 Pro was almost at full power here. I used my trusty 8400 Pro on an AC pack to always use the modeling light. You probably noticed that there's nothing more annoying than not seeing what you're lighting, especially with your main light. It's actually much worse with an Optical Snoot, so the AC pack was really handy here. I used the raw output of the Snoot paired with the attached lines without any gobo inserts. And if this is your first time hearing about the Optical Snoot, this one is from Strobe Pro and it's actually pretty great. I made a full review on it, so make sure to check them out if you have any questions about it. And if you don't have the budget for an Optical Snoot, you can always try to use a standard reflector with a grid. Again, the lines won't be as sharp as an Optical Snoot since you can focus the light, but you can get away with a circular type of light and maybe try to fix it in post if you want to. And for the post-processing, in this case, I went very light with only 2 software. I used Capture One to develop it, and to finish it off, I also used a dehancer pack in order to give it a film aesthetic, which I absolutely love. So that's about it for this set, and thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to see the next video, and actually I'll see you in the next video. YvensB out.